Well, this past year has been a fake news fiasco for CNN. After 4 years of relentless attacks and made-up scandals about former President Trump, the network has been riddled with numerous ongoing scandals of their own. In October of 2020, you may recall the infamous Jeffrey Toobin incident. After he was caught exposing himself on a Zoom call, the network still brought him back. Toobin slipped up, but former CNN star Chris Cuomo's involvement in his big brother's sexual harassment scandal this past summer violated every standard of what little journalistic integrity CNN had left. And to make matters worse, one of Chris Cuomo's producers was charged with luring underage girls into sexual activity. He's been fired and indicted. And now we have CNN President Jeff Zucker resigning as president of CNN for having an undisclosed affair with his colleague, who just happened to be Andrew Cuomo's former communications director. Well, joining us with his take is longtime advisor to President Trump, Bruce LeVell. Bruce, it's great to see you tonight. Thanks for taking time.
Happy Friday. And like sands through the hourglass, there goes CNN.
Oh, my goodness. What a year for them, right? I mean, first they lose their ratings when Trump left office. Then it's scandal after scandal. Then their former president, Jeff Zucker, he's involved in this aspect, in every aspect of their programming, and to a point where the on-air talent was actually interrogating the interim leadership about Zucker's departure. They're losing their minds without him there. I mean, this is a massive loss for CNN. Where do you think they go from here?
Well, they got to go up eventually. They're gone so far down. I don't know. And by the way, thanks for having me. Listen, I spent a few years over there at the Clinton News Network, or the Criminal News Networks, also known as CNN. And I can tell you, Jen, and Pastor Darrell, and many of us have been there during the beginning of the Trump campaign. And it was always a hit job. It was always a spin. It was always, they tell you a topic and you get on air, and 2 seconds before you go on, they'll tell you something opposite. They would run their stories on sources said over and over. But listen, here's the unfortunate part about what's going on there, is the fact that they have lied, cheated, and stole and manipulated the press. And as I call it, scrubbed the American people's brains, is what they were trying to do, is that they don't even know what the truth is. So what happened was they created a culture. And you saw when Megyn Kelly was, I think she was on Eric's show, Bowling Show, she said, stay tuned, there's some more stuff coming. I was like, uh-oh, what else could keep coming? So listen, this is a result of what goes around comes around. And I have a theme song for them over there, when the walls come crumbling down, because that's exactly what's going on, Jen.
Yeah, no question. It just keeps getting worse. And of course, now we're hearing the reports of CNN being in talks of paying out $9 million to Chris Cuomo to keep quiet. And that Zucker and the lady he's having an affair with, they coached Andrew Cuomo before his COVID press briefings on how to, amplify his conflict with President Trump. What do you make of that?
Well, I think, like I said, it's like it created an unfortunate bad culture, because what happens is there's some good folks in the journalistic world, the journalism world, and media world that are really trying their best. I know some of your bookers and producers here on Newsmax, yourself, and many more up and rising stars really trying to do the right thing. But when they allow a culture of a group of bad apples, it puts a dark shadow and casts everybody under that shadow. So listen, this could be, and I see it as probably a blessing in disguise. And maybe this is a good old butt whooping to maybe get yourself back to order, back to reporting real news, like what I grew up with, Walter Cronkite. Yes, I'm dating myself, and that's the way it is, Tuesday, November. That's what we need. Just tell it like it is and stop all the BS.
Yeah, but they've had such a...
Talk
me
about
too,
CNN,
just listening to you. You're right. Oh, my goodness. But what do they do now, right? They've lost so much credibility with, first of all, that was long gone with during the Trump era. But then now that we've seen what's happened over the past year, how do they make that come back? Maybe like Megyn Kelly said, there's a lot more to come out of this. Maybe more people will end up leaving the network. But how do they turn a corner after that? That's really tough to do.
Just stop the garbage. Take some notes from like this good news station and say, hey, just get some folks on there, have an agree to disagree conversation. If it happened, if President Trump put 50,000+ people in Conroe, Texas, okay, just get someone, report it. If this happened over here, report it, no matter how uncomfortable your so-called base doesn't like it. And for God's sake, get some folks back on there to agree to disagree, and let's have a comprehensive conversation. Man, I feel like I want to apply for that job. I think I'm going to apply for that job.
You can't go to CNN, Bruce. We need you here. I'm sorry. We're going to have to talk about this offline. But, Trump, of course, dubbed CNN the king of fake news. And it seems like somehow they've gotten a lot worse than he left office. I don't know how you get worse, like you said. But we've got a clip of some of their top reporting. Listen to this.
We are not fake news. We are real news.
Much of the dossier has been corroborated. Some rioters were planning to murder lawmakers.
What does Putin have on Trump? Has Trump been compromised?
That Kavanaugh aided and abetted in the commission of a gang rape.
But it does look like that young man to me is taunting the Native American Vietnam vet, and he's in his face.
When you start whipping people and you want to split hairs between reins and whips.
There is no evidence of any wrongdoing by either Joe or Hunter Biden.
Looking ahead to 2020, one reason why I'm taking you seriously as a contender is because of your presence on cable news.
Wow, Bruce, CNN's greatest hits right there.
Hey, you reap what you sow. And this is a result of that. And if you notice when you watch those clips, Jen, they didn't even believe it. Like, boss, do I really got to say that? Yeah, get back to work. Okay.
Do you think that old Chris Wallace from Fox News that's now going to CNN Plus, do you think he has any regrets right now? Or do you think he knew this was all about to happen?
No, because once again, with all the jokes, there's a bad culture. And that culture overtook the great men and women who wanted to aspire to be good journalists and be good news hosts like yourself and many others. Once again, it just devalues our precious freedom of speech on our First Amendment and our press. So we have got to get that back out and let it flow. And this is a result. This is, hey, like I said, this is you reap what you sow.
Yeah,
they need Jesus. They need Jesus.
You nailed it. You nailed it, Bruce.
Allah, Muhammad, bring everybody in trying to resurrect the CNN. They're going to need all the help they can get.
Thoughts and prayers to CNN. That's what they need.
It's cheap. Go get it.
I love it. Bruce LeVell, you never hold back. Bruce LeVell Unfiltered. Always great to see you, my friend.
Yes, happy Friday. Thanks for having me.
Happy Friday. Thank you.